Good morning. Welcome to the February 20th meeting of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. Roll call, Bishop here, Dale.
Present.
Miller is absent. Rubella.
Here.
Wagley.
Here.
And Lowe here. We have the agenda to approve or amend. Any additions or removals?
I'd move to approve.
Jeff, quick question. Were there any property purchase applications?
There would not. I just have it on there for bookmark in case we get any, but I was going to.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion on the table.
Second motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Claims, the controller.
Approval.
Oh, sorry.
Approval minutes.
Yes, the January meeting memoranda.
Yep.
Any comments, questions, recommendations, amendments?
Yeah, once again, for the many months in a row, there's informative information missing from the minutes, so I will not be supporting them.
Make a motion to approve the memoranda as submitted.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? Roll call. Bishop, yes. Dale.
No.
Rubella.
Yes.
Wagley.
Yes.
January memoranda approved. Claims straight.
Good morning. Just want to present the claims to you and just want to open it up for any questions that you might have.
Any questions with the controller?
Craig, I appreciated the explanation on the large amounts of infrastructure funds. So those aren't being they will be spent. They are being reallocated.
Yeah, sir. Going to
The biggest piece is from Markets on Madison, which is reappropriated.
Yeah.
And there's another piece of 122 and change or such.
Yeah,
That's
that came out
to
of
be
the
spent,
general.
not being spent today. Okay.
To the street, and I believe it's for all the pavings that you guys agreed on last month, like Air Park, et cetera.
Any further questions for the controller? We have a motion on the claims for us.
Motion to approve claims as is.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call. Bishop, yes. Dale.
Yes.
Rubella.
Yes.
Wagley.
Yes.
Claims have been approved. Thank you, Craig. Report from the city. Mr. Howe.
I think the feedback's coming from this mic, but we'll just have to manage through it. All right, on the financials, you can see where we have the TIF balances. Mall-TIF is up to 427. Mad Jack's TIF is at just under 10,000. Central TIF is at 91 and some change. South TIF is 92 and some change. Delaware Dynamics is back to about 110. And the mall parking lot is about $2,000. We have, those are our kind of, those are the TIF funds. We have White Road Loft Phase 2, Public Space Streets 975, Teal Pond at 233, Parks still has a remaining 59,000. Total focus funds is just over $2 million. Consolidated TIF is at just under 700. Other cash accounts is 757, almost 758. And then we have some revenue expected to come in. We still have 750,000 to come in from store. Sportsplex at 735. And then other projected revenue net of debt at $1.2 million. We have Storage States Park been spent out, and then the Village Hilton Tapestry, we have those commitments as well. Estimated consolidated TIF balance at the end of the year is, as of today, almost $3.4 million. Then on the activities, the updates, and obviously this time of year, there are not a lot of things happening, but we have a number of homes coming out of the ground. D.R. Horton is closed on 9 lots. I think there are probably by this point, last time I was through there were 6 under construction. I think there may be 8 under construction, 8 or 9 now under construction. Title work is prepared. Closing is set for the takedown of the 9 more lots. I think was possibly supposed to close yesterday. It did not, but it did not. We knew it wasn't going to. It was delayed, waiting for water service to be turned on, so we're waiting for that. But it is all set to close. In fact, I think the transaction hasn't completed, but I think a lot of the documents are signed. The point you noticed on your way in, under construction. Of course, not much happening at 5 degrees, but under construction, and it is proceeding when the weather's nice. I can see it from upstairs, so it's coming along. New development opportunities. We've been actively engaged in discussions with a number of home builders regarding potential new developments. I think the conversations are really pretty early stages, but we've got folks that are kind of on the spectrum of asking some what-if questions. Other folks have done some preliminary laying out of lots in some areas, and so we're looking at those. But there's strong interest in building some homes, and given the upcoming construction season, I expect these things will start to get some real energy behind them here fairly soon. In addition, we've been in talks with 3 hotel developers, exploring the possibility of adding a new hotel in the downtown Muncie. This time I'm starting to work on how some of that monopoly pieces have to move to get some of that stuff to happen. Obviously, there are properties down here, but you know the developers have to be connected with the property owners, and where those things fit, how they fit, and how they locate still being worked through. But we're, like I said, we're working with some property owners, having some discussion with some property owners too about how we can connect those to developers. And then if viable opportunities emerge, we'll assess what further role we need to play to bring projects to fruition. Significant progress is being made in the village. As you know, if you've been driven through there, we've already made a commitment for some of the development. A few years ago, I think it was $2.4 million, I think, over the course of 5 years. That there's about, and Mr. Lowe can correct me, but my last conversation I had, about $185 million worth of private and public investment to happen out there. We're collaborating closely with Ball State and the developer and other city officials to do what we can to ensure those projects happen. And so we're working on some of those things and trying to understand what needs to be done and kind of what the economic impact for those kind of things is for the city of Muncie. Let's see, I think our housing strategy, I think the expansion of new subdivisions and apartment is a key component of our strategy. We've been having conversations again with developers in Ball State. About 9,000 plus individuals who currently commute into Delaware County, Muncie, to work and then leave at the end of the day. I think the belief is a number of those are large earners. We'd like to see if we can provide housing options for them to be able to live here and spend their money here, pay taxes here, and those kind of things. So like I said, we continue to look there. We are also having conversations with affordable housing developers in the way of apartment buildings and or homes, or houses, I should say. Apartments are homes, but houses. And the last study that I saw was shown by one of the developers was their data is telling them there's about in excess of 2,000 units short in Muncie for affordable housing. And so we're looking at how we can get those things to happen, and we feel like it's a problem that we need to try to correct as quickly as possible. We've got too many folks living in properties that probably they shouldn't be, and then we just got to fill the gap where we're short. Beyond housing and commercial development, I've been kind of working on some other projects as well. I'm on the search committee for the CEO for the Horizon Convention Center, which certainly plays a role in economic development in Muncie. So we're trying to see if we can find someone to run that organization. And I think hopefully by the end of the first quarter, maybe, we might have something, or certainly maybe early in the second quarter. Also working with, I'm going to call it steering committee, leadership committee of the Creative Action Plan, which you may have heard about. There's been some public meetings about that. It's designed to enhance Muncie's arts and culture landscape. We feel like positioning the city with a strong arts and culture environment, it will help lead the city to prosperity. I think Lily has come out and firmly believes that, so we are looking at ways to make that happen. Just sitting with a number of people in the community that are providing some feedback, guidance, and Ball State University, President Mearns, and some developers and other organizational leaders have been participating in that. So hopefully we'll get some of things done there. I think the only other piece of business that really update is Isaac has, and two of you know this, but Isaac has made appointments to the Muncie Revitalization grant program we talked about last month, and that group will then kind of finalize some of the administrative framework around that, and Steve Crabella is going to serve, and Zane Bishop are going to serve on behalf of the MRC, and then the mayor will make 3 other appointments, and that'll round that out and hopefully move that along. So, I think that's all I have.
I had some questions,
Okay.
and this may involve our legal counsel as well, but when we voted on the 1.6 plus million spending plan last month, both myself and Zane were very concerned, because not so much that we didn't want to be supportive, and we just wanted to understand, and so I had asked to table that for 1 month. We didn't do that. We voted on a 3-2 margin to go forward. We had less than minutes to review that plan and make a decision. I like to speak with one voice whenever possible. But after that meeting, I asked for some information, and I did get some information eventually from the mayor. I asked for the economic development agreement for the Indiana stamping project, because it was proposed in that spending package that we allocate $400,000 to retire a bond debt on that. I did get a 200-page document. That document doesn't speak to any EDA. It doesn't speak to a bond. My question is, was there ever an EDA or a bond involved? Because the paperwork we were given to make a decision at that meeting stated that an EDA was referenced by us to make the request of this body. And I'm concerned with the information that we get to make a decision, especially on short notice, when the information really isn't thorough and good. I mean, you even had dialogue with the mayor here, making sure, yeah, the EDA says this, says that. So I just want to understand, is there an EDA? Is there a bond connected to that?
Well, as I told you in the email when you requested information, as it turned out in discussing this with legal counsel, that the agreement, in whatever form that it was not with the MRC, as was initially indicated to me. When I was advised that it wasn't an MRC project, then I advised you guys that we would not be making that expenditure, that we didn't have to make that expenditure, and I was done with it, because it's not an MRC project.
Okay.
Why it's not on the agenda, and like I say, that this was a project that was started under the previous administration. Documentation's sketchy. Legal counsel looked it over, and when I called to check on it, was told that this is with the Muncie Development Corporation, or whatever it's called.
Muncie Community Development Corporation.
Yeah, and I said, oh, well, okay, then it's not us. But I think the Development Corporation led people to, when they connected with me, to say it's an MRC project. I get calls all the time from people that think things are MRC that aren't MRC. So when we did that, then I'm done. That's why I told you I don't have the agreement.
Yeah.
I can't provide it to you because I don't have it. We didn't spend the money because we didn't have to.
And that's a reason why I questioned it and asked us for just slight delay so we could speak with one voice on the entire spending package. And if we had done that, we would have caught that, and it would never have been, we wouldn't have taken action on something that we didn't even have to consider.
I don't think you would have.
Lastly, I want to say this.
Okay.
There's taxes owed on that property, so I think whatever, in those documents that I did receive, do state that taxes have to be paid thoroughly. There's taxes in the rear right now that company owes, and they're substantial.
Not an MRC property.
I understand, but I'm just saying that, you proposed that it was though originally.
The taxes have been paid. I've been working with Tennessee Council with respect to that deal, which in all fairness, the prior administration was actually, we raised that issue, something like, it was a significant amount, it was like 60-some thousand.
Yes.
Per year.
Yeah.
It's probably just not.
Good. Thank you. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Any
Thank
other-
you.
That's all I have.
Thank you for clarifying, Jeff.
Sure.
Any other comments, questions on the report from the city? Thank you. We have no property purchase applications. Do we have a report from the Muncie Land Bank? Good morning.
Good morning. Nate Howard from Muncie Land Bank. I wasn't here last month, so a few things to update. I don't know if it was discussed last meeting, but anyway, we have 3 new board members appointed by the mayor. And then I'm sure you're all aware that our esteemed board member Jim Lowe stepped down at the last city council meeting due to his new role with the Ethics Commission. And then John West was appointed as his replacement. So we've got full capacity again, and bringing in the new members and figuring out how, we can all work together, continue moving towards our mission. As far as acquisition and disposition, as I've been talking about every time I get up here about these tax certificates that we're working on getting cleaned up and taking full ownership of. There's 36 tax certificates. 7 of those we've already transferred to Habitat for Humanity. Even we did that prior to quiet title action. That was for them to be able to meet a criteria for a grant that they've been awarded for $1 million, tied to those 7 properties, actually 3 more that they have in-house to build houses on. So that's exactly what we want to be able to do for nonprofit developers, for-profit developers, but get out ahead, grab properties, allow them to apply, leverage those properties in grants, and that's what they've been able to do. Excuse me. The other 26, again, have been through they got through the redemption process, meaning that they weren't redeemed, and now that we're doing the public notification, we have to pick out an ad in the Star Press, and then those will initiate quiet title action. So and so it's another couple months before we'll take full ownership of those. 612 West 5th was a property that we acquired a long time ago that was, we have the story on our website if you're interested in, but it was a property that had cycled through the tax sale for many, many years, 10 years ago. It had some burn damage and was slated to be demoed. We acquired it from the deed sale, so we actually paid money to get it, cleaned it up, held it for Pathstone, who also worked with the city community development to get some funding through CFGB funds and other funds to rehab it. And so that's really our first ever full rehab of a house that was deteriorating and caught in the tax cycle. lingering from tax sale to tax sale. But that house is being offered to the public as an affordable house with pathstone. And again, a house that would have been knocked down, but it's been able to be salvaged because of everybody working together. We are working hard to get ready for an additional ask to the commissioners for properties in the next month or two. And I've talked about that process, what it looks like, but we have meetings with leaders from the Whiteley neighborhood, from the industry neighborhood, and the old West End. And now we're kind of expanding into the 812 area because of some new things that have developed. But those are our primary partnerships that we're trying to get out ahead of and grab properties. And again, I know I've sent you a few resources, but I really I'd love to have some kind of sit down and talk you through all the different tools that we've been creating to track properties, to track our impact, to track all kinds of things. We've had some great help from the All States Urban Planning Department to really sharpen up our systems. And yeah, because I talk about those things, but I think at some point in time it'd be great to sit down and show you how we use those and how you all can use those for your own role here at the MRC. Yeah, there's more, but as far as acquisition disposition, that's about it. Excuse me, our first Friday meeting, we didn't have one in January. In February, we hosted Kim Miller, who's the president of the Muncie Arts and Culture, and it was a great meeting about art, placemaking, and neighborhood revitalization. This coming month, I think maybe I've mentioned this too, but we're building our partnership with the Urban Planning Department, and one of the things we're looking at is trying to build out our First Friday series and bring in people from around the state. And so this next meeting, we're inviting Tim Corcoran from South Bend, who's a planner there in South Bend. He's actually a Ball State graduate, but they've been doing some great public-private housing development partnerships projects, and so he's coming in to talk about that. And that, just to say, so that's actually not going to be the first Friday, it's going to be the second Friday to work with his schedule. That's, I think, March, just to get it so the public knows, March, anybody know, the second Friday, March 14th?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. We have recently been awarded a grant from Community Foundation. We've been getting our steady quarterly support from the MRC. We're very thankful for that. You probably have had updates from Jeff and aware of things, but we're still very hopeful about READY funding and how the land bank will be a part of that, what's being awarded here to Muncie. And we're in a lot of ways we're dependent on it for this year to be able to really continue the flow and the speed of which we've been working and growing. We're going to be presenting at the IDEA conference on March 8th. We're receiving a special visit, and this is something that happens often. We're receiving a special visit from the Hancock Economic Development Council. They're very interested in starting a land bank in their county, and so they're coming, and we're going to do kind of a workshop with them about how we got started, challenges, successes, best practices, those kinds of things. And I'm going to be presenting on a panel at the Community Connections for Centerpoint Scholars on April 12th. We've talked about this too, and one of the things that I spent a lot of time with the team, we all spent a lot of time on when I was in Columbia, was developing a proposal to present to the county commissioners. I'm happy to share that with you. We're going to present it at our board meeting tomorrow morning, and hopefully, we're hoping that it will generate some conversation, but it's a proposal of how we can support Delaware County, and a proposal of specifically how to do that with the city of Muncie. And I'm really proud of the analysis that we've been able to come up with at the tax sale, talking about its successes and its shortcomings, and perhaps where the land bank can play a role in that. Because really what we have in Muncie is a backlog of properties that have just built up over time. The tax sale tends to be successful at selling properties, offering back to the public, and creating a surplus through bids coming back in for properties that have gone through the tax sale the first time. But after that, the numbers change dramatically, and so that's where we're honing in, saying, can we help with this process there? So if there's some legs to that, I'm sure you guys will be informed. That's probably all I have for right now. I don't know if there's any questions or comments. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm barely awake. I went and picked up my wife last night at the airport. Got home about 4 o'clock in this snowstorm. They spent an extra 3 weeks in Colombia. So my second vacation is over now. So anyways, sorry. I feel like I'm a little out of it. Oh, man. Any questions or comments before I say anything else?
Questions or comments for the land bank? Thank you,
Yeah.
Nathan.
Thank you.
Get some rest.
Yeah.
All right, we can move on to public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, sorry. Your name for the record and then 2 minutes, please.
Hello, my name is Tanya Seid, and I am the new Executive Director of Muncie Arts. I'm here simply to introduce myself, say hello, and just tell you a little bit about Muncie Arts. So I wanted to, first of all, let you know that I started my position on Monday, February 7th. And for those unfamiliar with Muncie Arts, also officially known as the Muncie Arts and Culture Council, we champion arts and culture experiences, public art, and a thriving community of artists and allies. I accepted this position because of my deep interest in Muncie and my care for the arts. Muncie Arts is in a transition to become even more of a service organization. Currently, we do artist residencies, Box, the painted traffic boxes all over the city, public art, and the Mayor's Arts Awards. As someone with 30 years of work in communications and education in mostly the arts and museums, I look forward to making Muncie Arts the backbone of the arts in our city and being available to anyone looking to match or partner with the arts, with those wishing to make Muncie better for everybody. This is my third time living in Muncie, as of now for 20 years. Previously, after graduating from Ball State, I worked in Washington, D.C. My husband and I have raised our son, who is a Pride of Muncie Central graduate here in Muncie. Before I accepted this job, I was working at Minnetrista Museum and Gardens as the Vice President of Exhibitions and Programs, the Ball State University Foundation as the Director of Development for the College of Communication, Information, and Media, at the David Owsley Museum of Art, where I was the Director of Education, and then as a consultant, strengthening nonprofits to do more good for more people. That's the approach I'll be taking with Muncie Arts, to do more good for more people. The arts improve our quality of life, draw people to our city, and are an economic driver through the creative economy and as a magnet for investors. Thank you for this opportunity to introduce myself. My office is at Muncie Civic Theater, and my contact information is on the Muncie Arts website. I look forward to hearing from any of you and anyone else who's looking to make Muncie the best it can be through the arts.
Tanya.
Thank you. And if you have questions, I'm happy to answer any questions, too. Thank you.
Any other public comments? We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, do we have a second? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.